First item, 3.2, Supervisor Buster.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is a very interesting item, and I do have some concerns about it. I realize having people come and picket at any one of our homes would be disconcerting at the least, and it could be even more if it's not regulated to some extent. But however, targeted residential picketing, this ordinance, or banning it, which this ordinance would do, would seem to prohibit the very picketing that took place in my district when Mr. Dokich was at a home out there, and in fact the board went out and joined the picketers. We picketed out there in front of the house. So picketing has long been part of the hurly-burly of democracy. Now when it gets out in the residential areas, we have reason to be concerned about the peace and quiet about there, about children being there, about safety issues, about disturbing sleep and dinner hours and the like. And I think we can regulate that. But to ban it entirely, I think is wrong and would invite more problems than it solves. For instance, I was about ready to go down to Supervisor Tavalone's house when he was being picketed and offer a counter picket, because much as I may have disagreed with the final vote, Supervisor Tavalone in that particular issue was trying to arrive at a fair compromise in his district on a really difficult issue, and one that he didn't have total control over. So that happens too. I mean, people come out. We see that, and we see that here in California today, where you have pickets on one side, or both sides of an issue, and the sheriff or the police are skilled in trying to keep the peace and making sure that public safety, people aren't blocked on the highway and so forth. And then, of course, if picketers really do get outrageous, we can go to court and get proper, and county council could gain from his knowledge on this. We can get court orders to further restrict or set conditions around which picketing can take place. And I know this county hasn't seen the kind of picketing that took place, and I just vaguely recall it, when Cesar Chavez was trying to organize farm workers down in the desert areas quite a long time ago. But we do get some picketing here. I mean, we may have large-scale or even isolated picketing in the future. We normally see it around public buildings. We may see it along major streets. It is rare to have it in residential areas. But unless somebody explained to me how, if folks are concerned, say, about many group homes in an area and irresponsible people managing these homes or whatnot, or, for instance, in this time of all these foreclosures and financial scams, where you can't go and picket at say there's a financial scam carried out by a company, as there have been in this county, and the offices of this company close, and the people that have been scammed, residential people, are trying to get the ear of the proper investigative agency, say the district attorney or some other state agency in charge of financial affairs. And there's no business to picket, but there is a house, and this is an actual case there in my district. So where are they supposed to go? The perpetrator of this scam lives in this home and has no future business, and people are trying to get the attention. So, of course, naturally, they want to picket or raise some protest in front of the home, which is their right to do. So we have to balance these competing needs here, and I think this ordinance, I'd like to get a little more expression of what the need for it is, but I hope we can modify it so that we can properly respect residential areas and still allow for legitimate expression of people's civil rights and ability to petition their government. May I say one other thing? We board members, and for that matter, council members in cities, charters that have wards, must live in a district. We cannot run from outside that district. And that's natural enough. People want to make sure we understand the needs of their community, and we live, they want us to live with some of the decisions we're making, too. I mean, I frequently hear people, where do you live, Supervisor Buster? You're not experiencing the problems we have here. Do you live close enough to us? Do you understand? It's implicit in everything you do. So that people can come to my home if they want to, and they don't have to come down here. And they can rap on my door. They can get past my dogs. Rap on my door, or they can picket in front of my house, I guess, if they don't like what I'm doing. Normally, that's a kind of a last resort. But that's implicit in these residency requirements of public officials here, that we don't separate ourselves, even from our homes, from the people we represent. So all that goes is all part of this whole mix of how far can we take expressions of civil concern or protest, and how far they can go. So there's a couple of cases cited here. I haven't had a chance to check into them, but I hope we can modify this ordinance so that it is workable and it's fair to all involved.
Thank you. Supervisor Stone.